Have you ever wondered what really happens after classes let out for the day? When the teachers go home and it's just us kids left to our own devices? Well, I've got a story for you about one such afternoon that went from normal to nuts. It all started with a run-in with the school bully. Billy had been taking Jake's lunch money all year under the guise of protection fees. But one day, Jake had finally had enough. A huge fight broke out right in front of my locker. As a crowd gathered, teachers rushed over to break it up. But it was too late, the chaos had begun. Mr. Smith hauled Billy and Jake off to the principal's office, scolding them the whole way. But without the threat of Billy's protection, the other kids started getting brave ideas. Little did we know the real madness was only just starting. At first, it was just roughhousing as the teachers broke up the initial fight. But someone threw a punch, and then another kid jumped in. Before we knew it, an all-out brawl had erupted. Kids were dodging through classrooms, vaulting over desks, and launching projectiles. It was a madness I'll never forget. The whole school descended into pandemonium. Nobody was safe as the crush of wrestling bodies and airborne objects filled the corridors. I just tried to stay low and out of the way. But it was no use. The frenzy soon engulfed us all. Would any of us make it out alive? Tune in to find out how this epic detention disaster finally ended. The fight had spilled into every room as more and more kids joined in. I took shelter behind Miss Johnson's desk, but it did little to shield me from the mayhem. Dylan emerged from the chaos, shirt half torn off, as he chased Timmy around the room. A well-aimed kick sent a globe sailing, heading straight for me. I dove out of the way just in time. Panting on the ground, I realized I needed to find a better spot before I was crushed in the stampede. I bolted from the classroom, darting between flailing limbs and hurled objects. Almost home free, I chanced to look behind me. Big mistake. I crashed right into Tammy, sending our books and papers flying. As we untangled, a chorus of angry screams rose on the air. Uh-oh. I'd accidentally knocked over the beehive that was Normie and his gang. Now they had a new target, and I was it. I scrambled up and pumped my legs as fast as they could carry me, the pack of boys closing in fast. Where could I go to lose them? I darted into the locker bay, praying Normie and his goons had lost my trail. Pressing up against the cool metal, I listened for any signs they were still hunting. At first, all I heard was the melee raging elsewhere in the school. Then, a distinct shouting rose above the din. There he is! Get him! Panicked, I scanned for another hiding place. That's when I noticed the partly open janitor's closet. It was a long shot, but what other choice did I have? I squeezed inside and pulled the door shut just as pounding footsteps approached. Holding my breath, heart racing, I listened to Normie and his gang stomp by, yelling curses. When silence fell again, I let out a sigh. Then froze, realizing I wasn't alone in here. Two glowing eyes peered at me from the darkness. I'd unwittingly locked myself in the tight space with the scariest kid in school. Could this day get any worse?